Hey guys, today on It's Armageddon, we're going to ask the question, what if you could only save 5 Dalek stories? In general, modern or classic, what if there are only 5 Dalek stories you could save and the aliens were taking the rest because the aliens are not very nice to us. But they're going to be nice enough to let us pick the 5. The first one on my list would be Power of the Daleks. Even though it's animated, the fact that Power of the Daleks is held in such high regard, despite having much surviving footage of it, is a testament to how good this story is and how good the audio performances are. And I love the animation. The original animation was fine, and the 2020 is even better. I like the story. Troughton is on fire in his first story. It's nice watching Ben and Polly get used to them, how Ben's more suspicious of him while Polly pretty much trusts him almost immediately. The guest cast are really good in it. I like the set designs that we can see from the animation and the few surviving clips. And it nails the Daleks. There are very few people who can nail the Daleks the way David Whittaker nails the Daleks. He understands they are manipulative geniuses, and they will use people as a means to an end until they don't need them anymore, and then they destroy them. The Daleks are clever, they're sneaky, they're mischievous, and they're manipulative. I cannot talk. And I love that. To me, that is the Daleks. That's how the Daleks act, and I feel like Power just nails them. Also, I love the animation for the Daleks. That 3D model of the Daleks looks fantastic. So yeah, Power of the Daleks is a must-have. I knew going in I would only either have Power or Evil, and as much as I love Evil, Evil's phenomenal, I prefer Power. So Power is the only one of the two on the list. Next on the list is Genesis. You have to save Genesis. I know it's not a Dalek story if you really think about it. It's more a Davros story and the origins of the Daleks. But the threat of the Daleks loom over this whole story. They're like a giant shadow being cast over the story. You know, you can feel them coming. You can feel them coming. They're slowly making their way towards you. You almost get a sense of dread of it. And it deserves its reputation. There is a reason why Genesis has its reputation. Tom Baker is putting in a great performance. All of the cast are putting in a really good performance. Davros is never better. Michael Wisher is my favorite Davros. I love the makeup design. I love the way he does his voice there. I never liked Terry Malloy's Davros voice. I like Terry Malloy's Davros, but I don't like his voice, the way he does the voice of Davros. I much prefer this more Dalek-sounding voice that Davros has in Genesis. The guy playing Niter, oh my goodness. David? Is that his name? David? I forget right off. He's really, really good. I always love when he shows up in Doctor Who, when he's in Invasion of the Dinosaurs, when he's in Silurians. He's just great. But Niter, he just nails. He nails what they're going for with him. I mean, they're obviously, you can tell what they're going for with him and the kind of soldier he's meant to be basically portraying. I shouldn't have to spell that out. And he nails what they're doing there, even to the point of clicking his heels at times. And then, of course, I love the twist of seeing the Daleks turn on Davros at the end. And if Davros had never come back, that would have been a fitting end of him being betrayed by his own creation. They became exactly what he wanted them to become. And then the Do I Have the Right speech is absolutely phenomenal. It is one of the best Tom Baker moments. I absolutely love the Do I Have the Right speech. It just goes to show what a good character the Doctor is, that he's wrestling with this kind of dilemma. Because even though it's the Daleks, it's still genocide. And then I love any conversation the Doctor and Davros have together is gold. It is gold. Anytime they are talking to each other is just amazing. Like when he asked him, you know, what if you had a virus that could destroy anything? Would you do it? I was like, yes, I would. Which is when the Doctor, I really can't talk today, knows that Davros is just a megalomaniac. I always enjoy their conversation. Genesis is a legend for a reason, and it has to be saved. Next on the list is Dalek from the Modern series, one of the best Dalek stories. It shows just how dangerous one Dalek can be. That how he can basically topple the world if they want, especially these Modern series Daleks, where they're much more powerful and much stronger and have much stronger armor. And you just watch the Dalek taking out all of the security guards and stuff there, the soldiers and everything, with the bullets just disappearing and him just blasting them. You see him elevating on the stairs. I love that bit. Elevate, going up the stairs. Eccleston is putting in a heck of a performance here. It's never been more personal between the Doctor and the Daleks as it is here between him and this Dalek, when all of the rage of the outcome of the Time War just comes to bear on him, and everything he's been keeping caged up is just cracking out of him. All of the anger, the frustration, even the fear, maybe. You know, that whole bit when he first walks into the room, tells it, I'm the Doctor, and it's like, Doctor, and he's like, impossible. And then when the lights come on and he's trying to get out of there because he knows it can kill him, but how that changes when he realizes the gun doesn't work, and his first reaction is to laugh. Just that laugh. And he's so happy. Fantastic. Oh, fantastic. And he gets right up in its face. I mean, Eccleston is doing such a good performance there. That bit about that. I saw it happen. I made it happen. And then the scene later, right after the Dalek kills all the soldiers with the water. And they're communicating when he's like, I will talk only with the Doctor. And, he's like, where will I get my orders now? And the Doctor does that, rid the world from your filth. Why don't you just die? That's a great performance. You can see the spit like flying out. He's so enraged and frustrated. You can just see the anger and resentment seething out of him. And then I love that it's perfect. The Dalek's like, you would make a good Dalek. And how that kind of makes him pause for a second. It's interesting how it turns all of that around with the Doctor kind of getting darker progressively in the story, while the Dalek, since it extracted Rose's DNA, becomes lighter. It's an interesting shift of character for both of them, which is interesting, and how the Dalek just wants to be free, and how even the Doctor knows that's not right when he tells the Dalek, I'm sorry. Wasn't that a good thing? Not for a Dalek. I love that bit too when it's like, I am the last of the Daleks, and he's like, you're not even that. It's a touching, well-done episode, and the guy playing Van Statten's really good, too. Next on the list is Day of the Daleks. You guys know I love Day of the Daleks, especially the special edition. I would love if the aliens would let us keep all three versions, but as long as I get the special edition, I'm happy. Why would I keep Day over some of the ones people might think better? I love the story. I love the time paradox story. I think the actual story is phenomenal, how it deals with time travel. I think most of the acting performances are pretty good. Some of them are a little, but I think most of them are pretty good. I think John's putting in a good performance. I think Katie's putting in a good performance. I think the updated special effects look really, really good. And I feel like the execution of the story with the updated effects matches the magnificence of the story itself. I always love rewatching any version of the original. I like the omnibus version. I love the special edition. I just feel like it's an important story because I think the time travel aspects of it are handled really, really well. And the whole paradox of the time travel that make up the story is really well done. And the last one was tricky because I knew I only had one left. So do I go with a Hartnell story or do I go with 80s Who? Because Hartnell, of course, his Dalek stories, he has like 4 of them. They're iconic. You think you need at least one. But the 80s Dalek stories are all good too. So how do I limit myself to just one of those while still keeping everything that I've picked already? Because I'm not getting rid of Day of the Daleks. I'm keeping Day of the Daleks. Y'all are just going to have to accept. You're going to have to watch Day of the Daleks. Ultimately, I went with Remembrance, which might surprise a few people because most of you know Remembrance isn't my favorite 80s Dalek story. I prefer Remembrance over Revelations, which I also think is really good, but I prefer Resurrection over Remembrance. And from an entertainment standpoint, I stand by that. I like Resurrection of the Daleks. It's my favorite of the 3. But I don't think it's as essential. I don't think it's as memorable from a historical... trying to find the right words. I don't think it's as essential. There we go. I think Remembrance is more essential Doctor Who viewing than Resurrection is. And it hurts because that means I don't have any Hartnell Dalek stories, and that sucks, and we need to touch on that because those are important. Doctor Who wouldn't be where it was if it wasn't for the Daleks, the creature, and the original story. Most of you, if you watch my channel, know I'm not the biggest fan of the Daleks. It isn't bad, it's too long. It needs to be trimmed down a little bit, but it's by no means a bad story, but it doesn't rank super high on my Daleks list. And I don't want to keep it simply because it's the first one, even though that is quite possibly what's responsible for Doctor Who enduring for so long. If I was keeping a Hartnell story, it probably would have been Dalek Invasion of Earth. That tends to be my favorite. I haven't seen Master Plan. The chase is hit or miss with me depending on the episodes. And I tend to really like Invasion of Earth, so I would have went with that one. But I've got to go with Remembrance, because despite Remembrance's flaws, and I talked about them when I reviewed Remembrance in the past few months, but I like it overall. I think it's an important story. I mean, it is the final Dalek story in Classic Who. It's the first time we see Chess Master McCoy, really. We see just how manipulative and dark he can be, as we see in that speech when he talks to Davros at the end and he tricks Davros into using the Hand of Omega. We get some really nice shots of the Daleks fighting each other and other people. We get the special weapons Dalek, which I really like. We get Ace beating up a Dalek with a baseball bat, which is always fun, and crashing through a window. We get the nice cliffhanger of the Dalek coming up the stairs toward the Doctor. I mean, it's a good story, and I definitely think we would need to save it. Those would be the 5 I would pick. So I want to know what you think of my list and which 5 Dalek stories you would pick if you could only save 5 Dalek stories in all of Doctor Who, Classic and Modern. So comment down below and let me know other things to do. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. We are close to reaching 1,000 subscribers. That has been my goal for a while. So if you enjoy the content and haven't subscribed, I would certainly appreciate you doing that. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me that way. That does help me keep the bills paid, especially in 2023 when everything costs way too much. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their support as I do the support of all of my patrons. You can find a link to the Patreon in the description. My P.O. box is down there as well if there's anything you would like to send, look at, and review. And a link to my Amazon wish list is also down there. I update that regularly. Most importantly, thank you for watching.